Hey everybody, welcome to The Dose. I trust everybody had a super fantastic week and is in the throes of an awesome NFL playoffs weekend. For the Saints fans, that's how it goes, right? For the fans of Indianapolis Colts, in the same boat with me, right? Cowboys fan. I'll see you next season, right? But for those that were all about the New England Patriots, I'm sure they're having a joyous evening and reveling in the success, as well as the Seattle Seahawks fans. Congratulations to you guys. Listen, great topic for tonight. You know, these teams that were trying to get to the playoffs and they didn't make it to the playoffs because they got beat and whatever the case, they look at that as a problem. We've got a problem, right? And that's a big problem. When you got a multi-billion-dollar franchise like an NFL football team and you're not making it, further along in the playoffs, that's a huge problem. But it's also a high-class problem, right? I mean, think about this for a second. You got a multi-billion-dollar football franchise that brings in hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Our team didn't make it to the... Well, yeah, that's a problem, but look at the bright side. You own a franchise that brings in hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Here's my point. Everybody's got problems. When I was in college, I had a problem. My rundown, secondhand used furniture that was in my apartment belonged to my best friend who moved to Houston and needed it back. And I had to work. But yet I promised him that if he ever asked me for it, I would take it to him. So I had to decide whether I was going to call in sick to work and drive his furniture in the back of my truck all the way down to Houston from San Angelo, Texas, and deliver this secondhand used furniture, which probably wasn't worth $200, the whole lot of it, but it was his, and he wanted it back, and that was a problem for me. Today, I'm trying to figure out how the furniture company can deliver my solid oak furniture into the house without dinging up the walls. You know what I mean? Problems, but two completely different kinds of problems. The kinds of problems I had trying to make my $318 a month rent in college, today I've got different problems. $318 is no problem. But when a guy in a motorhome rear ends the back of your brand new, twin turbo 5 Series BMW, that's a problem. But would you guys agree that is a higher class problem than not being able to make your $318 a month? Here's the reason why I'm telling you guys all this. Because problems are one of those things that are never going to go away. You're always going to have them. They're always going to be there. Sometimes they'll be small. Sometimes they'll be larger. Sometimes, they just... when you're broke, you think I got money problems. But when you got money, you still got problems. They're just different kinds of problems. You're always going to have issues and problems that you have to sort through. But the difference between normal people and achievers is how they view those problems. Do you view them as challenges? Do you view them as learning experiences? Do you view them as just part of life that you just got to get through and you do whatever you got to do to get through it and then you just keep on pressing on? Or do you use them as a stumbling block and an excuse and a reason not to pursue your dreams and goals, or to take your foot off the gas, or to let off the pressure, or to ease up, or to slack off, or to just get overwhelmed and hide in a corner and hold your head like this? How do you view your problems? Are they building things? Are they stones building the wall, right, of your financial defenses, or are they stones being hurled at you by the world? How do you view your problems? And how you view them will have a tremendous impact on how your life progresses from this point going forward. Because here's a newsflash. Some folks think that rich people have no problems. I'm here to tell you, when I didn't have any money, I thought people with money had no problems. Today, I've got some money. I'm not rich. I'm not super well, but I'm doing okay. But I'll tell you, even if you're doing okay, you got problems too. I've got problems today just like I had problems then. Everybody's got problems. It's how you deal with them, because they're always going to be there. But it's your choice whether to use those problems as a learning experience or an excuse. It's your choice whether to just recognize them as part of life and do whatever you have to do to get through and then keep on trucking, or whether you let them stumble and block you and disturb your path towards your own success. It's a choice. It's a decision. So what can you and I do? What is our action step? What can we do? Here's what you can do about problems. Look at them from the perspective of a much larger scope. If you're looking at a problem today like you got a flat on the freeway, well, is that a big deal in terms of today? Yeah, I suppose maybe in terms of today it's a big deal. But in terms of your whole week, yeah, it's notable. In terms of your whole year, I hardly even remember it happened. And in terms of your whole life, who cares? It was a flat tire. The reality is, if you can have that perspective down the road, why couldn't you have that perspective today? And that's how you minimize problems and make them for what they are. The second thing that you and I can do is that we can look at a challenge or a problem and say, what was I meant to learn from this? How am I going to be better going into the next situation because of what I had to learn or do or go through or overcome to get through this? That's the second thing you can do. And the third thing you can do is just learn to laugh and accept the fact that it's going to happen to all of us and they're always going to be there, and just know that that is part of the normal cycle of life. And when you can have that sort of perspective, when you can have that sort of philosophy like, that's just part of the normal cycle of life, it doesn't bog you down emotionally. It doesn't drive you. It doesn't affect your self-esteem. It doesn't affect your self-concept. You're not thinking, God, this always happens to me. Instead, you just go, hey, man, it's just part of life. We all have to deal with it. And when you can get those three things down, I'm going to tell you, life becomes a lot easier, becomes a lot more fun. You begin to move much more rapidly towards your goals. And just know that every single one of us is going to have ups. We're going to have downs. We're going to have challenges. We're going to have rewards. We're going to have all these things in between. And that whole thing, that whole dance, that's life. That's life. Life isn't a destination. Life isn't a number on a ledger at the end of the year. This whole dance, that's life. People say, how do you experience, happiness in your life? You just do. It's not the destination, it's the journey. So just know as you go through every single minute of every single day that it's your decision whether or not you make it a great day.